Barely made it.
I know, right in time. Sorry.
All right.
Let me get my stuff.
We are live, by the way.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
internet.
Sorry, everyone. My bad.
We have 0 viewers. If it makes you feel better.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case,
I mean, there's the VOD viewers.
I'll go back to shaking my butt.
All BRB.
Oop. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Core H6 in. What?
By the way, Tim, I don't think the features like the noise gate and all that work with the H6 if you're just using it via USB. I think it's just a pass-through interface at that point.
That's weird.
That's my assumption.
Yeah, because it's like picking up small little bits of something, but there's nothing in here.
And you sound fine.
I mean, if it's helpful, I can go through and clear out and delete out all the excess if it's a problem.
I wonder if it's the same
guess
issue where StreamYard is controlling your gain like it's doing with Jason.
Yeah.
And then when you talk, it kind of goes down. I'll bet you that's what it is.
How is my audio if I'm from right back here?
You sound
Do I have to be more on it?
You got to be a little more on it.
Like
it sounds
2-inch.
That's too much.
It sounds when you're back here, you sound like you're talking in a room. You pick up more room echo.
I will be right here then.
I don't think it's like a deal breaker, but
yeah, because I'm looking in Audacity, I'm recording, and I can see it just like a fraction of a green bar, just like constant, and there's no noise in this room at all. Unless it's like picking up people from like a room and a half away, which I mean, that would be kind of nuts.
Can you see, the little slider next to the microphone that you can adjust levels?
Yeah, the recording volume.
If you speak really loud, does that move?
No, it does not. And it's at like 0.4.
What's your, where are the bars going up to, the audio bars?
-12 at the most.
That's okay.
I mean, the audio is coming through on the file fine.
Yeah, but you're talking about the little background noise stuff. I know what you mean. I don't know.
Okay. I mean,
the only other thing I can think of is it could be your USB cable. Does the cable have like a round thing on it, like a collar?
No,
because there's two kinds of. Hang on.
Maybe it's got like some electronic interference.
Yeah, it could be because there's one that has like a ground loop built in. But I mean,
well, if it helps, I mean, I don't know. It seems like you have to slice it up anyway. But if it helps, I can clean it up or something. I mean,
no,
I don't know if it's really a problem.
If it's just a static, like constant droning noise, then the software I have can easily take care of it.
Oops, sorry, I showed Griggs.
But if it was like random odd noises here and there, like then it wouldn't. And even when that does happen, I can I basically when I edit, I import everyone's audio and then I strip the silence parts, out of it. But then there's parts where like Jason will sniff or open a can or you'll bump the mic. And so as I'm recording, I see that that's nothing. You're not speaking. It's a noise. So I just swipe it with my pencil and it goes away. Like it just gets deleted. So that's part of the editing process.
Okay. I mean, if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. But it's looks like it's a lot less than last time because I'm not seeing nearly as many blips.
If you want to stop recording and listen to it real quick and see what it sounds like.
Sure. Let me just do that really quick.
We have a hard out though, right? So maybe
yes, we do.
We do need to kind of get the show.
Not really hard. I have a soft out.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about time for me.
Actually, you know what, John? It looks pretty solid. I zoomed in on it, so I'm good.
Okay, then we're good.
One more thing I'll say before we go live is to have somebody go on Twitch, have a window open to moderate.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Hang on.
The show me your tits.
I'm going to go ahead and start recording.
Oh, good call. Well, do you want to count down and then go live on?
Okay, let's start recording. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh,
Hi.
the audacity.
Yeah.
The audacity of it all.
Tim, give me a test.
Test.
Jason, give me a test.
I'm testing it. We're testing the shit out of it.
Gregel.
Testing my poop.
All right. Let me get this pop-out window open. Hang on.
He said pop out. Pop out window.
What is going on with Twitch now?
What's going on with Twitch right now? What's going on with Twitch?
Not letting me open the dashboard. Is the internet broken?
I feel like it's
Mine's
been
fine.
broken since everybody went home.
Mine's fine. Untapped broke a minute ago. I figured that's where you were.
Me?
It literally like 2 minutes before you came in, we're like, oh, Untapped's just returning 502s. I hope I don't need it for the show. And then you came running in screen sweating, and I was like, oh, okay. He was out there frantically repairing Untapped.
I would be doing that, but I have zero to do with that anymore.
Fair.
That's kind of a nice feeling.
Not my problem.
I did, as a backup, look up all of my beers on their respective manufacturers' websites.
Oh,
I went to Beer Advocate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same thing now. So
Oh, shit. All right, we can get the show on the road. Enough of this palabber.
yeah, hold on one sec. I am just checking the Twitch chat. What's going on? Are you working or not?
What's going on?
Well, we're gonna assume it's working.
I said, hey, yeah.
Oh yeah, nice.
What's going on?
Tries. Oh my god, so I'm trying.
That's so good.
Every couple months, I just throw that video back on. It's always makes me smile.
Yeah, I back when we were at the when I was with Disney and we were at the like shared open floor plan office, somebody put that on, and it was like the 12-hour loop, and it just basically played
God.
all day.
Shoot me.
I mean, it was fine for probably the first hour.
Are you guys ready?
Fart yes.
Yerp.
Welcome to the Four Brewers Podcast. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I am joined by
Jason Harris.
Weedy Greg Nagel.
And Tim Mather.
And as Greg alluded to in his moniker for his name, I don't know what to call it. This is our wheat beer show. We picked a theme for this week. We all have different beers, and they're all wheat beers. And we figured that this would be fun to do because, personally speaking, everything I've been drinking for the last month or two has been nothing but like Pilsner and IPA with some stouts mixed in here and there. And wheat beer just sounded like a refreshing, like palate cleansing option to try. So we're all
This show
drinking.
will be your palate cleanser for your ears.
There you go. We're all drinking.
We've also entered forever summer, so it will be 90 plus degrees out here for the next 6 months.
Till October, yeah.
It'll be a steady rotation of pills, IPA, and wheat beers. So, but before we get to the beer, I want to give a shout out to 3 new supporters on Patreon. This is kind of blowing my mind. I don't know if it's because we're doing the show every week and we're getting more exposure, or people are just like finding the show somehow and feeling very generous. But we got 3 new supporters this week alone.
That's dope.
So that's a shout out to Sean Patrick Harris. I don't know if that's a relation to you, Jason, and Jim Roberts. So
Sean Patrick Harris. That's Jason's cousin from Donegal.
It's not Sean Patrick Harris. It's Sean and Patrick Harris.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah,
I was like, is that related to Neil Patrick Harris?
That's your dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yes. My dad is
Adopted
Neil
father.
Patrick Harris. He's like 5 years
right.
older.
He's like Dookie. Call him Dookie Dad.
So yeah, thanks to Sean, Patrick, and Jim for supporting us. Like I said, this month we're not really charging for anything for the show, so you're not going to be billed by us anyway. Maybe next month I think we might start it back up. But if you do want to support the show and help us out with what we're doing here, you can go to supporttheshitoutofit.com and give us your money. That being said, let's get to the beers. I'm going to start off with myself. I went to La Bodega, and La Bodega, they do sell single bottles, but as far as like wheat beers go, like traditional beers like you'd get from, the States or wherever else, you have to buy them in a 6-pack form. And I didn't want to have to buy 18 beers to do this show. So I went to their single bottle shelves, and luckily I found 3 beers that are diverse and are tasty. And so I'm starting off with a Paulaner Hefeweizen. This is a pretty classic hef. We may have had this on the show before. But yeah, it's a great beer. It's pretty cloudy. It's more orange coppery than I think I was expecting. It comes off kind of heavy. You know what I mean? Like when you drink a beer that doesn't feel like it's fermented out quite enough and it's got like residual sugars, it doesn't taste like that. It's a very good beer, but when I look at it, that's what I think. So
I think it's full of. Do you know what malts are in there besides wheat? I think it's Vienna. Quite a bit of Vienna in there.
It could be,
which gives it like a little extra body, a little extra sweetness, a little extra crackery, sort of like toasty.
I don't know.
vibes.
All it says is that it's brewed under the Bavarian purity law. So it's a Reinheitsgebot beer made with water, malt, hops, and yeast. So it could have that, Vienna malt would give it that kind of orange, coppery, fuller mouthfeel, which I like Vienna malt. But yeah, it's a great starter beer for what we're doing. What's the ABV on this? This is 5.5%. So yeah, $3 for a
Dude, that's a hell of a value for $3 all the way from Germany.
like.
We lost him.
If we're going clockwise, let's go. What does Greg got?
Oh, you guys! I got me a stealth mode from the Bottle Logic. It's one of those beers that I wasn't expecting to like on paper. It's one of those like fruited Berliner Weiss, that's way over ABV for what a Berliner is supposed to be.
Yeah, this is I think maybe the second release of that beer. It may be the third. I don't know. I think it's the second though.
Third, yeah. It's one of those beers that just hit me blindside when I first had it. I was like, you guys, if you've ever smelled a blueberry jelly donut, this beer exactly smells like a blueberry jelly donut.
Yeah, the thing with that beer, that's a good way to describe it, but it doesn't come off like really sugary and heavy. It's actually pretty refreshing and very, very fruity. And that beer actually holds up very well if you store it in a refrigerator. I have one that's still in my fridge from the original release, and I'm sure it's fine.
For some reason, in my head, even though Weisse is in the name, it didn't occur to me that a Berliner Weiss is a wheat beer. I was like, "Oh, Berliner Weiss. Oh yeah, that is a wheat beer." Okay.
It's probably the world's most hottest beer style right now. Arguably, I think IPA and fruited Berliners are ruling the sales. But
yeah, Berliners.
Yeah, Alvarado Street's last release that they did online that you could buy in a case and get it shipped to your house was a blueberry Berliner, basically, but it was amped up and it was like a pastry stout version, but for a wheat beer, whatever you want to call it, a pastry wheat.
Had like blueberries and milk sugars and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's super duper refreshing. It comes off a little bit yogurty on the nose, like a blueberry yogurt.
Exactly, that's what I got too, but in a good way, not in they really didn't handle their yeast well, and this really went south.
Super duper clean. There's no barfy. It's oh my god, such a 5 out of 5 beer for me. I don't know how they did it, but it still is super good. I'm going to buy it every time I see it. It's one of those perfect beers.
Agreed.
Good stuff, man.
I'm starting with what I would not call a perfect beer, but with a beer that 10 years ago put a local brewery on the map. I put it in a traditional Hefe glass, but it's got no head to speak of. This is Hangar 24 from Redlands, California's Orange Wheat. There was a time when this beer was everywhere. It was at all the Orange County stadiums. It was a sensation. And
yeah, that was one of my go-tos.
5 years ago, I feel like America decided they didn't like wheat beers anymore.
True.
It was that was the beer that and I'm not just a Butter Coors guy. You know what? I drink wheat beers. I'm taking a step up. And then as craft beer has become more of a thing, wheat beer has become less, I feel.
Do you think that's because something has kind of taken its place, or it just kind of dropped off and people aren't drinking that much craft beer anymore as a whole?
No, I think it's just been
it's just
replaced by other
trends.
styles. Yeah. Like
I think-
orange wheat is still a beer flavored beer with a bit of orange in it. And it's made with locally grown oranges, according to their bottle, which is cool. There's still some orange orchards out here. Orchard? For an
Yep.
orange? I don't know.
It's an orchard.
But yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it really is a American wheat beer. It doesn't have that Bavarian like banana clovey thing that you're gonna get out of a traditional hef.
Cal Ale,
And then it's got like a little bit of orange on it. It's just kind of a little bit sweet. Where now, if you want a beer that's sweet, you can get a beer that's real sweet.
What's funny about that beer, I think, is it built their brewery into this huge. They sort of outgrew, no pun intended, with oranges, but they outgrew all the local competition. They expanded like crazy, and then sort of wheat beer died, and then sort of you saw them scaling back production a little bit and making more IPAs. I'm not sure if that's exactly the case, but that's just my impression of.
That's what I've
24.
gotten from it too. It really feels like this beer carried their brewery, and then that whole style the bottom fell out on, and they just kind of had to figure something out.
I mean, just throw some lactose in it, bro, and make the lactose orange wheat with tart it up.
Overall, as an experience, I think it's just mild. It's mild overall. All the flavors in it are very non-challenging.
When I think of that beer, I think of like acidity, because I think it's for a wheat beer. It's more on the acid side, just because of the oranges and stuff.
Yeah,
and to me that kind of becomes taxing after a while. Like I can't drink a lot of those in a row, just because I kind of get sick of it.
I mean, if it was served with an orange, as I'm sure they prefer you to drink, it would have much more of like a kind of a mimosa taste, I guess. But
Good call.
yeah, it's not like revisiting this beer after not having had it for a while. I don't feel like I've been missing anything.
Is it and now, or did you buy it in a bomber?
No, it's in a 12 ounce.
I was going to say a boomer bomber, but
They do have cans too.
So
Yeah.
Tim, what are you drinking, Tim?
Well, I was just going to say really quick on the Hangar 24 note that the orange wheat was definitely like a starting beer for me too, getting into it. I mean, hefs in general were like a gateway just into beer in general for me. Not even necessarily into craft, but they were very approachable when I was first starting to go there. As far as my beer, I went with Maui Brewing's Pineapple Manna as my first one here. Nice and gold.
So were these curated from
the
your local
pineapple
bottle shop for you, or did you actually go and pick them out?
Yes. So I should have probably started with where they came from. No, so this is I was going to go and hit up the local bottle shop, but we've been limiting our trips out as much as possible. So I kind of ran into a deadline of not being able to get out anywhere. So last night I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do? And I hit up Drizzly for the first time. I placed an order. I had a $5 off coupon, and I got 3 wheat beers from the local Bevmo delivered by noon today.
Is Drizzly like a Postmates kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like an alcohol delivery. They basically partner with local places, and you can pick from the selection at those places, and then it delivers it. I guess it was like delivered by a DoorDash carrier. So it sounds like it's all like just the connector of different services.
Okay.
But yeah, they showed up, dropped it off, took a picture of my ID from a distance, and it was all good to go.
Very
That's
nice.
Cool.
I like
Coming back to my beer,
Maui,
like
Maui
this,
Brewing's good.
this, not that I'm trying to get away from Tim's beer, but this is really good. Like I commented earlier about how it looks, and it looks like it's going to be a full-bodied kind of heavy beer. And this beer does have a significant amount of mouthfeel, but it comes off. It finishes fairly dry, but you get like a nice malt character from it with a very, I don't know, not an overwhelming amount of banana, but enough banana so you know it's there. And it tastes really good. Like I could easily crush a keg of this, no problem. If I could get a keg of this, I totally would. This is fantastic.
Paulaner, they make some awesome stuff. I love their Oktoberfest, and this kind of falls in line with that, and it's really solid.
one of our favorite couple stories. Me and the girlfriend, we were at a place called the Back Abbey, which is like a Belgian bar restaurant in Claremont, California, and they have mostly Belgian beers, but they had a Paulaner Hefeweizen on there, and she's like, "Yeah, can I get the Paulaner Hef?" And they're like, "Do you mean Paulaner?"
You've told the story before, and it never gets old.
It's just like, no, I fucking don't. Like he's like, allow me to correct you by saying it wrong.
Dude, I had somebody. I always remember there was a lady at a brew pub that's out of business. She asked me, I was like, "Can I get the Hef?" And she's like, "Would you like the Hefeweizen?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take the Hefeweizen, please. Thanks for correcting me."
But at least you got the V sound.
I don't know.
Can I get the Heckin' Chonker, please?
That's so good.
Is that the Hef crossed with like a chunky smoothie?
Yeah, the Heckin' Chonker.
It's an Imperial Hef.
Yeah, exactly.
Stone did it in collaboration with Dogfish Head.
Nice.
Oh god.
The tropical notes on this Maui pineapple one are coming out like full force. It's got a really nice like pineapple sweetness. It's not overwhelming like a fruit, not like you're biting into a piece, but it definitely adds to it. And it's got a cool little like effervescent sort of like fizz going too, which is nice.
Personally speaking, I would have a pineapple wheat beer over an orange wheat beer any day. Like the pineapple is just such it's a more interesting kind of fruit, especially with a wheat beer. And I think it works better with wheat. Even though orange and wheat beers are kind of a very popular thing to do, and the pineapple nana, I'm not sure how many breweries make a pineapple wheat beer. But I think it's better than orange. It's more interesting.
That's a really good observation. Is orange wheat is coming from local oranges from around the brewery, and Maui Brewing Company is surrounded by pineapple plantation that they're sourcing all their stuff from Dole, and that's just a really cool. Good two beers that come from local like cultures. You're getting a taste of what's in the neighborhood, and arguably you can't get that with many beverages in the world, like other than those two beers.
That's a really good point.
That's a fun parallel. Yeah, I already moved my second beer because I was tired of that one.
What'd you get?
This isn't exciting enough.
I think I have 4 where you all have 3, so I just got to cram an extra one in. So my second beer is kind of a better version of the same concept by a better brewery. It's on paper, I haven't actually tried this beer before. It is Florida Cracker by Cigar City Brewing.
Ooh.
I think it was brewed too late to potentially been made by Matt, but let's imagine it could have been made by Matt. Florida Cracker.
Florida Cracker.
Yeah.
Well, that is an inappropriate name.
It is a Belgian style white with coriander and orange peel. So more like your traditional orange out of orange peel as opposed to putting actual oranges in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
It's definitely got some more of that cloviness on the nose, a little bit more character other than just kind of being flat and a little bit of orange.
I think exactly that's what the Hangar 24 wheat beer is missing. Like it's missing the character of the yeast basically. Because I don't know, do they make it with Cal Ale? Because I think
most American wheats are that's what they use. They just use like a USO5 Cal Ale, and
I get it. It's easy drinking. It's a great yeast to work with. It's as far as like the public goes, like you have a larger amount of people that are gonna be able to handle that, and they get like a wheat beer with orange. This tastes like orange, but having some kind of yeast character to back up that orange flavor is definitely something I would want.
And then the little bit of coriander gives it like a little bit of a bite, but overall the beer just feels crisper, and where the Hangar beer feels a little flabby. To steal from Great British Bake Off, but it feels a little flabby. It just feels a little like there's something missing. It's got like halfway to having all the notes you want in a full beer, where this feels like a little bit more like a full beer.
It's like not a complete beer. Right. I know what you mean by flabby. Like there's just that something that's missing from it. That's like,
I do prefer
whiteness to it.
I do prefer when they have that little bit of like spice character, like the coriander or like the clovey sort of banana feel. What is it? The Sierra Nevada is it their Kellerweiss?
Oh yeah, Kellerweiss is so dope.
It's like got that super good banana clove thing going on. I love when they have that in there, as opposed to just like straight orange. I think.
And this one, those notes are very restrained in this beer, though. Still, so it's still really drinkable, and it has that orange character, but there's just a little bit more yeast character, a little bit of spice, and it just kind of brightens the whole thing up. Good job, Cigar City.
Well,
Cigar
I moved
City.
on to. I'm keeping my other glass. Like I'm just gonna have 3 glasses of beer left over by the end of the show because I want to finish them all. But I moved on to Erdinger Weisse beer Dunkel. So this is a dark wheat beer, and I was looking for a dark wheat beer or like, is it a Doppelbock? Like what's the double wheat? Is that a
Weizenbach?
Weizenbach? There you go. That's what I was thinking of. Because those like tend to be really banana-y, and I really like that. Big
Spoilers.
banana. So yeah, this is a dark wheat beer, and I went to Untapped and I looked at the description, and it was written in what I'm assuming is German, and I translated it, and it said, "It fills the glass nobly in deep brown shades. At first sip, a harmonious multiple sound of selected dark wheat and malted barley." With first-class Hallertau aroma hops inspires. Caramel notes, hints of nuts, and fresh bread can be tasted with a traditional Erdinger yeast that unmistakably sets its top fermented accent. And apparently this beer was debuted in 1989 when the master brewer Werner Brombach, owner of the private brewery, brewed a dark wheat for his birthday. And it was so popular that they launched the beer in 1990. I assume this beer was like 100 years old for some reason. It's not. It's like 30. So, yeah. Are you guys a fan of dark wheat beers at all?
I love Dunkelweizen. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is a perfect opportunity for me to go dig up some Franziskaner Dunkel. Not only did they not have Franziskaner Dunkel, they did not even have regular Franziskaner at Total Wine. I feel like AB InBev's stranglehold on the Total Wine is starting to slip. They didn't even have a space for them. It's not like they were out. They just were like, "Yep, we don't have these."
Doesn't
anymore.
sell. Buy.
Yep.
Now I've brewed, I think 2 or 3 different Dunkelweizens in my brewing career, and they're super easy to make. I don't know why they don't have a popularity behind them. It's not like a Hef, but I mean it is a Hef. It's a Hef with midnight wheat in it.
You know, the big problem is the overlap of people who like Hefeweizens and don't like dark beers is like a very big overlap. True. And I feel like you're like, okay, your core customer is also the same person who goes, I don't like dark beers. So you bring them that and they're like, is this like Guinness? And you're like, no, it's a Dunkelweizen. And they're like, it tastes weird.
I mean, if you've never had a Dunkelweiss, they do taste "quote unquote" weird because you're getting this kind of fruity banana flavor and this, caramel kind of dark beer "quote unquote" flavor. So it can be off-putting at first, but once it's like everything else. Once you get a taste for it, it's really good. For me, this said on the description you get like a nutty aroma, and I kind of get that, but for me, it's like more of a dark fruit aroma.
Mm-hmm.
Smells very good. Smells actually refreshing. I think if I were to have this beer blind, not knowing it was like a dark beer, it might almost come off like a Hefeweizen on the nose that's made with some kind of fruit, because you cannot smell any kind of roast character from it. It's just like it looks dark. It's not smelling roasty or charred.
Essentially, you can take at the end of the mash, you can put some midnight wheat in while you're Vorloff and get that color extraction and have the same sort of beer. But you do want some sort of extra figgy, dark fruit note out of it. You want it to come across. I think it's the Germans' version of a Belgian double, like trying to get some of those like big characters out of their yeast to mesh with the dark fruity notes coming out of like a caramel malt almost. Yeah, I enjoy them. They're super good.
Yeah, this is very good. And again, this bottle was $3. So
in the in the origins of Jason, the young craft beer lover, we used to go to the Yard House all the time. And when I first started drinking beers, I just printed the Yard House's menu and crossed off each beer as I tried it.
Oh, you're dope.
But the beer that it really stuck out, that was like one of my favorites when I used to go to the Yard House all the time, was Francis Connor Dunkel. Like they always had it, and I really fell in love with that beer back then. So I've always had a soft spot for Dunkels.
And
would you just get that to drink, or were you getting it because you were like getting something to eat that paired well with it?
No, their food sucked.
like
Yard House food sucks.
We used to go there all the time because they actually have like a vegan vegetarian menu, but it's basically like, the processed stuff, like the chicken stuff and the meat stuff. And it's way, way salty, like so much sodium. Like it's bad. And Yvonne would get like they had some kind of Asian bowl thing that was just like over the top. It was like a bowl of salt. It was good, but it was so salty. Like really it was good. Like, here, have another beer to wash down all that salt you're eating.
Well, that's the point, man.
Yeah. No, we were there to drink. I would get at the time we worked swing shift, so like I would get home at like 8, and then Sarah would get off at like 9:30, and her coworkers all got off around the same time, so we would all meet up at the Yard House and go to their late night happy hour.
Nice. I've definitely had some late night happy hours at a Yard House.
It was fun.
Ooh.
I just opened up the weirdest tasting beer I think I've ever had in my entire life, and that is Freigeist.
Does that say smoked Weisse?
It's a smoked Lichtenheiner Weiss beer.
I didn't even know what to go just think of that.
It is I poured a little bit and tried to get over the initial like hint of hot dog water.
Oh.
and smokiness. It's got a little bacony character on the nose, and it's very tart like a standard Berliner Weiss. Whereas instead of a fruited Berliner Weiss, it's using the smoke as that layer of extra fruit. Fruit in this. It's just smoke and tart.
Lichtenheiner. I barely knew her.
It's very refreshing in a weird way. I can picture like eating some cheese with this or something to kind of cut that both the smokiness and the tartness of it. It's not like uber tart. It's just like a standard Berliner.
But what
it
about the smoke?
Sounds terrible.
They smoke the wheat malt in these open like offset smokers, just like smoking meat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then they use that in the beer. Oh, it's coming through big time on the nose and the flavor. It's kind of got this bacony sort of umami note.
Okay.
Like I don't really enjoy smoked beers, like the really heavily bacony smoked beers as it is. And then when you mix fruit and Hefeweizen, that just sounds like it's just oh god.
It's weirdly refreshing. Like if you had this with like some big rich barbecue, some ribs or something, it'd probably be perfect.
Okay. Again, so you're gonna pair it with something smoky and rich. Mm-hmm. Okay. But as far as drinking on its own, like I would not want to drink that on its own.
It's oddly refreshing.
Okay. Well,
very strange beer though. I have 3 more of them if anybody would like me to save one.
Nope.
So Jason just popped open a St. Bernardus Wit.
Nice.
I don't think I've ever had St. Bernardus Wit.
Yeah. I've had it before and enjoyed it. I mean, it's St. Bernardus. They're like masters what they do. So
yeah, they're like Feinstefaner or not Feinstefaner, Westfleteren, but easier to get.
They're not Trappist, right? They're the one that's not Trappist.
They are not Trappist, no.
They are monks though, or are they not monks?
Are you sure they're not Trappist? Hold on a second.
I'm positive they're not Trappist. They're not.
Okay. John seems very sure.
Yeah, I used to know them off the top of my head.
Wait,
but
who is it again? Sorry.
St. Bernardus.
They do have symbols for being Belgian family brewers and Belgian hops, but yeah, there's no Trappist symbol.
Yeah, they're not Trappist.
Those Belgian hops, Got me a Belgian hopped IPA. Mm-hmm.
Dry aged. This is interesting for a wit. There was some gunk in there. You can kind of see it floating down.
Ew.
The yeasty beasties. It's not very as cloudy as I'd expect. It's cloudy, but it's not like looking at like a Hoegaarden. And also
Looks
not
darker,
really getting much head. Smells super clovey. Super clovey.
Okay, I'm down for that. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I think I didn't really express how much like as far as the cloviness went with the Paulaner. Like it was pretty clovey. Like the banana clove levels were pretty much on par with one another. And it was really good.
I just did a quick skim of the St. Bernardist wiki, and it looks like they were a spin-off from St. Sixtus, the Trappist, and it sounds like they brewed it, and then eventually something happened where they decided only Trappist beers could come from the actual monasteries, and then they lost their Trappist founding, and now they just brew the St. Bernardist in the same place, but not Trappist.
So interestingly, I chose this beer over Hoegaarden because Hoegaarden is an AB beer and kind of, I feel like we've done it a bunch. But according to the description, they say this beer was developed in cooperation with master brewer Pierre Celis, father of Hoegaarden and Celis White. So that's fun.
Yeah, so there are not 7 Trappist breweries now. There are, from what I can count,
12?
11.
Oh.
There's Akel, Chimay. This one I've never heard of. Maybe I have, but under a different name. I don't know. Engelzel, La Trappe, Orval, Spencer, which is an American Trappist brewery, Rochefort, Tres Fontaine, not Dry Fontainen, but Tres Fontaine, Westmalle, West Veteran, and Zundert, which I've not had. And then not pictured in this picture I'm looking at is Mount St. Bernard Abbey. So I guess that's 12, actually.
What you got?
What's up, Tim?
Next one I got up here, I got Mango Squeeze. It's a mango hef, and this is coming from Slow Brew, which is actually
Obispo Brew.
Yeah, it's from the area where I grew up. I was not old enough when I was there to drink, so I never had anything from Slow Brew. So this is or maybe I have in the past, but I don't remember.
If you get back, go ahead.
Oh no, go for it.
If you get back up there, I had lunch there on the way up to Firestone, I think, or I don't know. Either way, heading up to the Central Coast, and it is right on. There's like a little kind of downtown area that's right next to a stream, and their patio is like right over this little stream, and there's like trees, and you're viewing the stream, and it's super pretty and serene. It's a really cool place to go.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that area to anyone up in that area in San Luis. Although I personally, when I go back up there, there's another place. It's not related to the brewery, but it's called Firestone Bar and Grill, and it's in downtown San Luis. Best tri-tip sandwiches and fries I've ever had.
Yeah, I mean that's a Central Coast thing. So
I grew up on tri-tip.
You got to do tri-tip good.
Yeah. So this one comes off like mango. I mean, they say mango squeeze. It's part of their like juiced up hef series. So they take their hef and they add some crap to it, and it becomes a juiced up hef. Off the nose, it just screams like mango. Like it just smells kind of fruit juicy.
Are you a mango fan, Tim?
I don't know. Yes. I don't eat.
That's pretty much how I am too. Like I guess I am.
I like mango flavor. I don't necessarily eat mango by itself.
Same.
Dude, we signed up for this thing called Imperfect Foods where we're getting like all our fruits and vegetables delivered with meats and cheeses and stuff like that.
Oh, is that where you get like vegetables that look like dicks and balls?
Yeah.
It's super rad, but they sent us a bunch of mangoes and there was super ripe. And what's cool about mangoes is they have this like some bites are very sweet and very tropical, and some bites are very like terpy pine. Like it's got this like piney note to it. It's very interesting fruit. I love it. It's very juicy, and
I'm gonna have to pick that. I'm gonna have to pick one up on my next shipment. We've been doing Imperfect for a while since before they did the name change. That is one of the like. There are a handful of subscription services that we have, and between Imperfect Produce and Who Gives a Crap, which is like toilet paper delivery, we have not had any issues with produce or toilet paper since all this crap started.
What about paper towels?
You can get paper towels through Imperfect as well, but normally we just grab whatever we see on Amazon.
Because I have like I mean, I normally get mine through Amazon too, and like everyone's buying all the paper towels too, and I'm just like, all right.
You just have to basically check, and we've gone through like 4 or 5 different brands. It's just like whatever shows up, let's get it.
Yeah, but they're also price gouging on Amazon for paper towels, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll just use like a dishcloth and clean the counters for now. It's fine.
Yeah, wash the towel after.
Yeah.
I don't want to segue too far, but I definitely I'm with you on imperfect being pretty
Imperfect's been dope. Like,
yeah,
of all the things we're gonna keep after this whole thing's over, like that's one.
I might look into that. Sounds fun.
Hey, my referral.
Use the
first.
promo code for Brewers.
1, 2, 3. My referral.
Go for it. My wife signed up, so I don't know what hers is.
This beer is a month past its drink by date.
Is that still the same? Is that still the St. Bernardus?
Yeah. And I wish I had a Hoegaarden. I'll say that.
I feel like you tend to be a fan of Hoegaarden. You bring it up.
I fucking love Hoegaarden.
Yeah,
it's such a great beer.
Yeah, it's a great beer. It's I mean, I would have bought it from one of mine, but I had to buy like a 12-pack, and I mean, I'm not against buying a 12-pack of Hoegaarden, but I was also buying other things at the same time. So
are you gonna slow pour that?
This is my proper glassware. That's all I want to say.
Excellent.
I have Weinstefaner Vetus with a huge heft glass. Away she goes. So today I went to a German market to buy some sausage for dinner, and I was like,
would you like some sausage?
I wonder if they have any beers in the fridge. And sure enough, they had Vetus, which is one of my all-time favorite wheat beers. I think it's the king of all wheat beers, dude. It's a Weizenbach. I think it's 7.7%. It's one of those like banana bread bomb beers.
It's an excellent beer. It's so good.
Oh man, it's so good. So I heavy poured it. It's going to slow pour down so you guys can continue what you're talking about. But
talk amongst yourselves. Discuss.
You're so fucking good.
Jason, what'd you just pour, man?
I felt inspired by Greg, and I poured a Weinstefaner Hefeweizen beer. I wanted a real traditional Bavarian hef with the banana and all that stuff. And so, yeah, this was the most traditional one I could find. I have the same glass as Greg with the wrong branding. It's got Bischoff. But yeah, at least it's finally filling my glass with a proper Hefe head. Like I have a Hefe glass, been waiting to fill the whole top with foam, and finally a beer will. I'm a
little jealous of you guys because I went the route of like, I think I had to do a minimum order, so I got 2 4-packs and a 6-pack. But I'm definitely jealous of all the German wheat beers going on in here because I absolutely love the like European, especially like German wheat beers. They're always so solid.
I kind of made it a point to not get any American wheat beers just because, well, we didn't talk about what we were going to buy, and so I was like, well, I'm just going to avoid everything American if I can, even though I have one American beer with me, but like the normal wheat beers that you would buy, and that's why I was stoked to see like single bottles of like a Dunkelweiss and an actual German Hefeweizen beer.
I considered for a second. I struggled with a couple concepts. I bought 8 beers for a 3-beer show. I was gonna do just kind of like your classic American wheats, but I thought that would be such a sad and disappointing show. Like I bought a 312, and I was like, oh, and what if I got like a pyramid hef and like go into that? But I was like, I know what'll happen. They'll suck. Like so.
You could be blown away by whatever they're making these days, but I think the odds are that they're pretty sad state these days.
Ironically, Pyramid was probably I think Pyramid was one of the first beers that I started getting when I went out to when I was going out with coworkers when I got my first like internship.
Same.
And then graduated. It was Pyramid in Newcastle, which eventually led me to Fat Tire.
It's funny because
Pyramid with a lemon in it, always, right?
Yeah, dude, it's great. I'm not, I'll gladly drink a Pyramid Hefeweizen with a lemon wedge or whatever they want to put in it. It's really good. My first beer outside of like Coors or Bud Light was God, you just said it, the brown ale.
Newcastle.
Yeah. And then I found out about Pyramid, and it was like, so we had the opposite like timeline there, and it was like, oh, this is really good.
Oh, all beer doesn't taste like pennies. Wow, that's great.
No doubt. Pyramid did a apricot hef. That was one of my faves back in the day.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know if I had that one, but I remember them doing it.
Man,
All
I'm
right.
still admiring.
Who's
that.
next? Who's next?
Hold the
Look
phone.
at that.
Greg and Jason are next, but they're like slow
All right.
pouring.
Well,
so-
they're
Look
slow
at that.
pouring. I'll just wrap up my last one if you're cool with that.
Yeah,
Go
go
for
for
it.
it.
All right. So whenever I think of like a good spicy like wheat beer, the thing that always comes to mind is the go-to Oberon.
Oh, dude, yeah, Michigan.
I
So
like
got-
looked at Oberon on the shelf. I thought about it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna get something else. But I'm glad you grabbed it.
yeah. So I have Oberon from Bell's. This one is definitely a go-to for me if I'm looking to get like a multi-pack. It's really good. It has like a light body, but the spice character from their house, I think don't they have their own house malt or house something. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is.
I mean, Bell's is a pretty old.
Oh,
school
their
brewery,
yeast. They have their signature ale yeast, and that gives it like that special spice character, which is really nice. It doesn't drink like a citrusy orangey hef. It drinks a little bit more in like the ale sort of area.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where they're not trying to make like a German Hefeweizen. They're just making something that has some of the wheat beer character, but is like a refreshing summer sipper. I've always appreciated it for that.
A summer seeper.
And
Summer,
it looks like
a true summer sipper.
it looks like this one was packaged
Mateo.
on April 7th for this bottle.
Oh, nice. Of this year?
Unless that's 2020. Unless that's a
Oh, sweet.
yeah. So it's pretty fresh coming from Bevmo. I'm surprised.
If
What's
I went to
kinda cool
Total
about
Wine,
that-
that would have been April 7th of last year.
That beer, I went to visit family, I think probably 15 years ago in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And, I was sort of into beer and stuff back then, but everybody was drinking Oberon. I've never heard of it, obviously, because it's such a Michigan local thing. But back then it was like every backyard party, people were drinking Oberon in the summer.
Well, when it comes out,
Yeah,
like
beer.
there's like Oberon Day. Like
Yeah.
it's a it's a
It's a big deal.
celebrated beer.
It's a big deal.
For comparison, this Maui pineapple was canned on 10/11/19. So it's a
Oh,
I will say Oberon definitely like had an irresistible charm. It's a shame what happened to the eyes and such. Oberon Martell. Listen, somebody out there's gonna get it. Tweet at me.
we're all quiet.
Over my head. So I just got done pouring my Vitas.
How about you drink it? And
The head is so meringue like. It's
I want to see that all over your.
the meringue has peaks to it. Like if you whipped cream with some cream of tartar, it's like it's insane.
You need to take
all
a
the
sip and
nose-
give yourself a mustache.
Oh, for sure. Watch. It's absolutely mustache worthy. It's this beer is synonymous with banana bread and big clovey character and sort of this like it's got a booziness to it that underrides. It's only 7.7%, which is like right in like high IPA territory, so it's not super big, but it is for a hef or a Weisse beer. But it's so like bright fruitiness, like apricot, stone fruit, little cloviness, some spices in there, cinnamon. God, it's just so good. It's so layered and so perfect, and it's very light. It's got very tiny bubbles to it, which you don't really associate with beer a lot of the time. Like it's sort of like a champagne style carbonation, which is interesting. Very cool beer though, and like
man.
$3 or $4.
I feel like once I wrap up all of the beer that I have in my house now and feel like comfortable going out to some of those places, I got to go and just go down the like import section and just grab one of everything.
The crazy thing though is the import section is kind of dying at your average store.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
we'll see.
Find a German village or something and go there.
Oh,
It's
so
literally where I bought this beer.
we had a.
Was it at Old World?
No, I bought it from Mattern Sausage and Deli. That's this place
Nice.
or in Orange.
Yum. We had a trip planned. We ended up having to back out of it and cancel it. But last year we were going to go and basically road trip through Germany.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we had it all planned out for like a 2-week trip to like fly into Paris, Amsterdam, and then just like road trip through Germany back around to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And I had all these. I was like, we're gonna stop on the train in Belgium. I'm gonna go to these crazy breweries, and then I was like, we're gonna go here and here and here in Germany. And I'm sad that it never worked out, but like, oh man.
I think
that would have been very cool.
over. I think we need to plan a trip, just the four of us, to go to Germany and Belgium.
Let's do that.
That would be dangerous, man. We would never come back. We get our passports revoked.
Well, I mean, life
run a
happens.
5 Series and then just go through Germany.
Like, you just get a new SIM card, new phone number, and
start a new life.
Start a brewery out there.
Become a German brewer, exactly.
Well, I opened up another beer.
You got to lean on the Nagel name when we start.
Die vier Brauers.
That actually sounds like a good brewery name when you put it in that language.
Actually, there is a brewery called Four Brewers, but they're in Russia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think they have the Twitter. No, do they? Yeah, they have the Twitter. No, is it Twitter? It might be Twitter or Instagram at the number 4 Brewers. Sometimes we'll get tagged wherever it is, and I'll respond and like, nope, not us. Like, you want this place, and they change it. So, but I opened up my last beer. This is from an American brewery. This is from the brewery Taru. This is Orchard Wit.
Anaheim.
No, actually, that is Anaheim. You're right. It's Anaheim. Yeah. This is a 5.7 ABV, basically like Berliner, that's made with orange zest and coriander and aged in oak foeder barrels for several months.
That's dope. I had that before, and was pretty shocked by it.
This is one of their classic beers, right? That the brewery did.
They had a beer called Orchard White.
Oh, that's right.
I loved Orchard White. When I used to hang out at the brewery all the time, Orchard White was like...
That was the shit.
That beer was my joinks.
And then they discontinued it.
I remember...
Because apparently only the 3 of us bought it.
When I was in my band and we were in Japan, I think it was the second time, Steven Johnson, or Stephen Day now, he went with us, and we did some shows for New Brew Thursday while we were there, and we went to a bottle shop. I want to say... It was in Shinjuku. I can't remember where it was exactly.
Harajuku?
But he saw a brewery, Orchard White, there. And he was like, oh my God, I haven't seen this beer in forever. And I think he paid like $50 for that bottle of beer. And he brought it back to the States, and you could buy it at, a Bevmo or whatever for $10 or
but
whatever it was.
Didn't you do that too when you, on like your first round through Japan, you saw like a crazy brewery beer, like a Black Tuesday or something, you bought it, or somebody
probably
you had a story similar to this.
We were both pretty naive when it came to what was like whales and what weren't whales, and so but that one I remember most because Steve came back and he's like, oh, I just wasted $40 like,
plus the baggage room
here. So
how is it? What's it smell like?
It smells like a brewery sour beer. Like, they have their own like house character when it comes to their like aroma, and I can just look at it and know what I'm getting into. Like, I've had so many brewery beers that it's not going to be anything like shocking to me. So it smells fruity. You've got that nice kind of acidic nose to it. It smells like it's going to be tart, although I guess it's not going to be that tart on the flavor because they've kind of reined that in over the years. But yeah, fruity and tart, basically. It's pretty basic.
I just picked out a new note from my Lichtenheiner. I poured a little bit. I don't know if you guys have ever had a smoked Gouda cheese.
Yeah,
no, but I would definitely like.
This is extremely smoked Gouda cheese.
It's a Gouda cheese.
So if you like smoked Gouda, look up.
Yeah, like actually, the vegan cheese that we buy, like you can get like American cheese, you can get mozzarella. And then you can get like smoked Gouda, and the smoked Gouda vegan cheese that we buy actually is pretty close to smoked Gouda. It's really, really good.
But what is it made from?
I don't know. It's
cashew
fake
stuff.
It's really good though. So I'm a big fan of smoked Gouda. Yeah. Going back to my beer, I just tasted it. It's actually a bit more tart than I expected. And it's exactly what I would guess Brewery to Rue would put out. It's a good beer, but again, when it comes to sours lately, they're just not my jam. It's a lot, even though it's a low ABV sour. It's 5.7%, but it's just so overwhelming. Like all you get is that like sour tart flavor. And
scale out of 1 to 10, how tart do you think it is?
I'd say 7.
Yeah.
7. Wow, that's up there.
That's
So
my
for me,
jam.
that's
right
like a
there.
15.
I mean, Greg, you would give this a 10, no problem.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tart. Tim, you'd probably love it. It's super dry. I just want more like malt character from it or something. Like I don't know.
I've only had
white.
I've only had a handful of like sour, especially sour wheats that I haven't been a fan of, and I think the only one that comes to mind was like it was like a fruited like a kettle sour, like a lemon kettle sour. Like it was like sour, acidic with lemon added, so it's just like a knockout in that, and that was the one that I was just like, I can't. This is like astringent, but for the most part, I'm down for like the high, like sour acid area.
Acid tripping, baby.
This classic German Hefeweizen is really hitting the spot. I wanted to finish with something very traditional, and it is. It's really good. It's got that banana clovey wheat character. I'm super here for it. I'm halfway through it already.
I will 100% say like wheat beers are so perfect for the summer months, which I know you mentioned in the beginning of the show. And I also appreciate that for the most part, they are a decently low ABV style. Like, especially when you get to like, Hefeweizen is maybe like, a little bit, it's everything that I have is within the 5 range. You get like the Berliners, those are definitely lower, but I feel like it's all within like a really nice sort of acceptable range.
Greg, what's the ABV on that Vitas?
7.7.
Okay, so that's the high end.
I was looking for a wheat wine to have on, but I came up short trying to find one.
I feel like in the early years when I was drinking, like Vitas would be one of those ones where you're like, yeah, that's like fucking almost 8.
He's got it. I do. I think I have a brewery white chocolate somewhere, which is a wheat wine.
I'm almost certain.
Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm looking at one right now.
There's a restaurant in Claremont called Heroes, and I don't know if they still do, but for the longest time you could get Vita. They always had Vitas on tap, and you could get it in a 32-ounce fucking mug.
You would be
God. That sounds so good though.
Yeah,
I desperately like. Oh God, sorry.
You would be so drunk.
It's like drinking a quart of IPA.
Yeah.
I haven't had, at least as far as I can remember, maybe once, but like I want to go somewhere like a German restaurant or whatever, or hell, just like in Germany and just get one of those big old like size of your head pints of something.
Dude, the boot challenge is going around Instagram where Brewers, I think I've seen a few of them that are doing the boot challenge, and they're like, "Hey man, what should I get for the boot challenge?" I'm like, "Step 1, go to Yorkshire Square in Torrance and get whatever the hell they have on tap. It's low carbonation and low ABV. You're gonna chug the shit out of it." And
you could fill it full of Guinness, and like people will be like, "Wow, you chug that thick dark beer." You're like, "Yeah, there's no carbonation and it's 3% alcohol." Like,
if you're gonna do a chug of like 32 ounces of anything, like a Guinness is a pretty good call.
How do I get in on this boot challenge? I have a boot. I'll go buy some Guinness.
Just
find the hashtag.
Yeah.
The JQ brewer that used to be a brewer at Taps, he's now opening up a brewery in Stanton. I just think he just did one with a Pils.
What's the name of the brewery, Greg?
It is Bearded
Tang.
Bearded Tang. Oh,
yeah.
Wasn't there some issues with their logo at some point? I remember that.
No, it was more of an internal discussion between us.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I was like, okay. I when they came out, I was like, okay, cool. Like, it looks like a cool brewery, and I know they're going to make great beer.
Yeah,
but I'm like, you guys are automatically putting yourselves in the Belching Beaver
Yeah.
Dirty Sanchez, like sort of like name of breweries, and like you can do better than that.
I was looking, and Belching Beaver's wheat came up when I was looking for stuff last night. It had one of those same names. I can't remember what it is. I got to look it up really quick.
Oh, it's Miso Honey.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I mean, their intention behind the Bearded Tang name and the logo, like the Tang fish is like a communal fish, and like it's accepting of all other fish, and like they had a story behind it. They thought it through. They just weren't like, oh, let's put a pussy on a bottle,
But
it had a thought.
To 5 random people who don't even follow beer at all, I'm like, hey, what do you think of when you think of Bearded Tang? They're like, pussy.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I found the perfect photo for Bearded Tang, and I'm going to share it on the screen. Share it on the screen right now because you all have to see it. I'm just
explain.
4 memers.
Here we go.
It's a Wu-Tang beard.
It's got a Wu-Tang beard.
No. Oh my god,
that's amazing.
That is so amazing.
The brewery looks like this.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. They're gonna make great beer. I'm all for them.
Like there's no way I could break down their logo like I can with Belching Beaver.
Sure.
Like,
Right.
No, it's all good.
I wish you wouldn't.
Never forget.
I guess
John's
that's
like,
a
hold on to your
hunt
butts.
down.
I'm about to say vulva a lot.
Oh my god.
wait,
We need to hunt down that episode and replay it at some point.
just I'm curious from everyone as a quick round. Obviously, we're getting close to wrapping up. What was everyone's favorite from their selections so far?
That's a tough call for me. I really do. This Vitas is so good. I wish I had bought like 5 of them just to have around the house. But yeah, I'd have to go Vitas. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm going with Venstefaner too. It's like just such a classic beer. I mean, turns out when you've been making beer for, dude, they're 20 years from their 1,000-year anniversary.
Holy shit.
That'll be amazing. In 2040, we got to go to Venstefaner's 1,000-year anniversary.
I hope something happens for that. That would be so fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Paulaner was really, really good. Like I said, I would easily buy a keg of that and have it on tap. But the Dunkelweiss was really good too. Even though it's a quote unquote dark beer, it comes off very refreshing and fruity, and it's tasty. The Orchard Wit, again, for me, it's just it's lacking any kind of character beyond the sour tart aspects, and you get a little bit of the foeder barrel character from it. It's fine, and I'm not gonna hate on the beer at all, because for what it is, it's a well-made beer. But for me personally, I would just stick with more traditional hefts. So, and then going back to like comparing like traditional hefts to American wheat beers, I think I'd still gravitate more towards like traditional Hefeweizens than American wheat beers. But if I was somewhere and all they had was wheat beer, like American wheat beer on tap, or not that would ever happen, but like you go to a party or something and it's like a bunch of American wheat beers, I'll drink those too because they're good, but they're not as interesting as like Hefeweizens.
Yeah,
true.
I would say that.
I'll go for it, man.
I was just gonna say, I would say that out of the 3 that I had, even though it might not, it's the one, the outlier. Oberon definitely wins for me out of these 3. I want to say it's classic. It's not as classic as your traditional German beers that are going on their 1,000-year anniversaries, but it's one that I feel like has been around and has created some sort of a cult following. And it's just, it harnesses like the refreshing feeling from a wheat beer, but you get that sort of like spice and that sort of ale feel that kind of also helps you like balance out the sort of hoppy beer side of things. So I feel like it's like it's refreshing without being heavy in a really nice way.
Very cool. I was just gonna say that I'm exploring my kegerator again because I've been buying so much like canned beer. And I'm like, what keg do I want to buy? I'm trying to figure out like I have IPA already in there, and do I want to get a Pilsner? Do I want to get a Hef or something like that? And I'm like, after all this wheat beer action, I definitely want to have like a Hefeweizen on tap at least for the next month.
Yeah.
Sounds super refreshing and delicious.
Well, overall, I think this was a successful show, and yeah, I'm gonna be buying more wheat beer because wheat beer is good.
The forgotten beer style.
Yeah, definitely, and especially the I'm gonna go seek out some of it. Not only like just generally import German, but the darker style, like you were talking, John. Those are always really solid for me.
Yeah, if you like Hefeweizen, you can't go wrong with Dunkelweiss because it's just I think it's actually a fruitier version of regular Hefeweizen, where like with Hefeweizen you get that banana character, or with Dunkelweizen you get that banana character too, but a little more dark fruit stuff mixed in on the nose.
Yeah,
too,
a little malt sweetness that I think balances it off pretty well.
Yeah, it's really good.
Sweet, guys.
Okay, that's the end of the show. I have a question, Greg. The keg you got from Asylum.
Well, one sec, Jason, your email's right there. I can see it, just in case you want some privacy.
Oh, okay. Nah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
One is you bought the keg. Like, I'm assuming the beer is pretty good. It's an IPA, right?
Oh, it's delicious. Yeah.
Okay. And the recyclable keg, does that mean you don't pay a deposit and you just basically throw it away?
It's totally disposable.
Oh God. Okay. I think I'm gonna stop by there and get a keg because like $90 for an IPA, like 5 gallons of IPA. That's really good.
Which IPA is it?
It's the best one, I think, in Orange County. It's Monsters We Breed. It's just a standard West Coast IPA. It's all mosaic.
But who's it from?
Asylum. It's right by Bottle Logic.
Yeah.
They're literally like in the same
around the corner,
area as Bottle Logic.
Solid. And I'm like, do I need to return this? He's like, no, it's trash. I'm like, okay.
That's great. Wait, what is it? What's it made out of?
It's like this plastic.
Okay.
Like, plastic bubble. Have you ever seen those Coors party balls? Back in the days?
I don't think so.
Okay. That was probably beyond.
It's basically like brown plastic, so it blocks out light, but and it's got a Sinky tap on top, so you put a tap on it and you're good to go.
That's
so awesome. Yeah, $90 for again, and the way you broke it down, like you could pay modern times $76 for a case of ice. Well, a case of ice, $76 plus shipping, so $25. So now you're at basically $100, and you're getting 300 and basically around 400 ounces of beer. Mm-hmm. Where with a 5-gallon keg, you're getting significantly more for the same price. So,
if not less.
Should I stop recording? By the way.
Yeah, you can stop recording.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of breweries have spare kegs laying around now that they just want to get rid of. Like Tommy from Asylum's like, hey man, like this beer's not going to get any fresher. So do you want to pick up a keg? I was like, fuck yeah. Let me get some Sankeys, and
that's awesome, man.
So into winter,
I already have a Sankey tap, so I'm good to go.
Hold on, really quick. So to tap a keg, what exactly do you need?
Well, the big thing versus
a tap and
big thing versus homebrews, you need a Sankey coupler, which is kind of expensive. They're like $40 or $50.
$30.
Yeah, okay. But they're more expensive than your little ball lock coupler, which costs you like $3.
Mm-hmm. So like with a homebrew keg, you have a gas input and a liquid output. And with the Sankey keg, you have the same thing, but it's all in one device that you put on, you turn it 90 degrees, and then you pull a handle down and you're good to go. It's super easy. So, I mean, if you like, you can go to More Beer or wherever, like a homebrew supply shop online, order a Sankey keg tap, and you can order it with a picnic tap on it. Like you don't need like the whole tap handle and faucet and all that. You can just make it super simple.
Squirter.
Yeah, the picnic tap. It'll cost you probably $60, I would say.
That's not bad.
So
but over time, over the next year of getting kegs or whatever, that's going to pay itself off.
Yeah, easy. Question for you, John. We were talking about my homebrew yesterday. If I can bother you for a sec, you mentioned I probably don't need to leave it on for 2 weeks. It'll be a week tomorrow. How long do you think I should leave it going?
It's a blonde ale. You're probably good to go.
Okay, so maybe just I need bottles first, so I gotta wait until I have some empty bottles. But
so empty some bottles.
Is there still krausen on it? Is it still like foamed up?
I haven't seen any bubbles, and it looks like it's just residue now. It doesn't look like it has anything on the top.
Yeah, when we were talking yesterday, Jason, it sounds like it finished within like 48 hours. So he's almost
for a
at
gallon. That sounds pretty normal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the kit came with the little the sugar carb droplets. So, and I just got my my siphon just came the other day, so I should be good to go.
I mean, if you wanted to wait another week, you could. You'd be fine. You'd probably be fine if you waited a month. But if you were quick to get it in bottles, like you could totally just bottle it right now, and you'll be fine.
Okay, cool. Just want to double check that.
Yeah.
Oh, and Asylum also did mason jars for growler fills because they're out of growlers and they're fine.
The ones I got from the local bar were a little flat. By the time you poured it back out of the jar into your glass, they were like a little undercarbonated, but but I got a jar of Pliny, so can't bitch too much.
But if
That's
you're
awesome.
like priming sugar and then so he's bottling like homebrew bottling, so he's gonna put priming sugar and then put it in the mason jar. It's gonna give some pressure.
Well, he's got
curious if it could handle the pressure of carbonation carbonating the beer, though.
I have a
Right.
bunch of mason jars, so I was thinking about doing that, so I didn't have to worry about bottles. But it
I
seemed like
wouldn't-
the consensus was nobody knows if you can trust the pressure.
No, because while it's fermenting in the vessel, it's at extremely high pressure, and then once it settles down, it goes back to being 4 or 5 psi.
Basically, what's going to happen is like that little empty spot in the top of the jar is going to fill with really high pressure gas that's then going to force its way back into the liquid.
Exactly.
And that period before it's gotten back into the liquid, the glass is under a lot of pressure. So,
And I think I've asked this before. Using recycled bottles is fine as long as you clean them out, right?
Oh, the
yeah.
Corona,
Yeah.
not Corona, but the Pacifico bottles I've used in the past. And those are like price per bottle of getting a 12 pack, drinking a 12 pack of beer, and then capping those 12 off with whatever.
It's better than buying your own bottles.
It's actually cheaper, yeah.
Yeah.
And the
All
labels
right,
come off
good.
real easy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I've got this 6-pack of Oberon and I've got Pacifico in the fridge, so it should be fine.
I've already uploaded my audio. I'm set.
Oh shit, I should probably do that.
How do I add this folder to my favorites?
I've got to end the broadcast, so if you're still watching, we're signing off. So
Bye, guys.
Peace out, y'all.